Good morning, traders. All two of you that are here because I was too late getting the stream set up this morning. My apologies. Today is Friday, October 29th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. So even though a bunch of people are going to be piling in here a little late today, I'll go ahead and start us out and hope they scan back to the beginning. So what are we looking at here today? Well, as I was talking about yesterday, it feels like the market is building a balancing area. Which is like basically when it gets a lot of excess to the upside, it oftentimes needs to either balance that off by pulling back in price or by just rotating sideways. And creating a balancing area is a way for the market to rotate sideways. So what could be the balancing area? Well, now it seems pretty clear that these highs up here, pretty much the high of yesterday, is the balancing area high. Okay, when we poked above that level, it caused us to push all the way down to here. Okay. Coming down to here caused us to find support both in regular trading hours and overnight, and then rotate back up to the opposite end of balance. And then poking back above that yesterday in the overnight caused us to trade back down again. So this is how a balancing area works. You literally just bounce from the top to the bottom over and over again. So to me, that is what we are creating here, is a balancing area. So the question now is, what is the balancing area low? In my mind, it's going to be either the lows of yesterday, where the overnight found support as well, or it might be these lows over here. So we'll be able to figure that out this morning as the market opens. Okay. Overnight inventory is net short, so we should expect a counter auction to the upside when the market opens here in a couple minutes. And seeing how the market reacts to that counter auction to the upside will be very interesting. If we push up in here towards the 72 level and we begin to find resistance, you can see where the market spent a bunch of time in the overnight in here, and then also this volume node from yesterday. Right? So that could act as resistance. So if the market pushes up in there and it finds some resistance and starts trading lower, then we have the opportunity to figure out where the balancing area low is going to be. Does it just trade down to the lows of yesterday, look below it a little bit, and then pull back up into the range, into yesterday's range? If that's the case, this is probably the balance area low, making that a look below and fail. Okay, and that targets the opposite end of balance. So if the market finds resistance on a counter auction up, trades down to yesterday's low, and then finds support just below yesterday's low, and then pulls back up into the range, that is very bullish for continuation to the upside. If not, though, it could be this low from 2 days ago. That is the balancing area low, right? Because we had all this support in here from the volume, which led us to push up to here and then down. So this might be the balancing area here. If that's the case, we would fail to pull back up into yesterday's range. So we would be looking to go short here for continuation down to the opposite end. Okay. It might also be that this becomes the balancing area low. It's tricky. We just don't know yet. But wherever the market dips slightly below and then pulls back up, and that triggers the reverse to the opposite end, that is the balancing area low. From that point on, once we've now established the balancing area high, okay, which is basically the high of yesterday at 45.8875. So once we establish a balancing area low, we can just assume the market will continue to bounce between those two and looking for a breakout one direction or another for a larger play. We've also got a lot of weak references on either side here. So yesterday's high was a poor high because it came exactly to the tick of a weak reference from the 26th. And then the overnight high literally came one tick below the previous all-time high. So we got a lot of weakness up here, and then same thing down here in the lows because the overnight came down to exactly the low of yesterday. So that weakness is a sign that the balancing area is forming. Okay, internal's opening a little bearish just because of the overnight inventory being net short. We are looking for a counter auction to the upside here. All right, we're getting that push higher. We're getting that counter auction to the upside. So now we're looking for resistance. It's also, I forgot to mention, it's worth noting that the spike rules. So yesterday we had a spike up at the end of the day in the M period, and we opened below that spike. So that is the least bullish scenario of them all. So if we're able to get above this 45.73 level, I'll be happy to go long on the potential that this could be a bouncing area low in here. And so now we might be rotating up to the opposite end. So I don't want to sit on my hands all day waiting to get long. So if we push above this node of volume right here, also where we spent, you can see we spent some extra time in here in the overnight. If we can get above there, obviously pull back down by the support, I think that's a good trade to the upside, heading all the way back up towards yesterday's high. But if not, we may need to pull back down here and test this low in the regular trading hours. David Glass, good morning to you. Welcome. Vincent, good morning. Sanju, good to see you. Welcome. Ray Miller, good morning to you from Seneca Falls, New York today. Nor Auto Trader, good to see you. Thank you for that donation yesterday, brother. Appreciate it. Naif, good morning to you. Philip, good morning. Welcome. Jay Trader back with us. Good to see you. Nick is here. Good morning. White, Your Highness, welcome. Two Manips, good morning to you. Doug, good to see you. Welcome. White is super bullish today. Super bullish. Yeah, it could be. Like I said, if this is the bouncing area low, down here, then we are heading to the opposite end of balance. We're heading back up to repair those all this weakness at these highs. David V, good morning to you. Welcome. Alexander, good morning. Phoenix is here. Good to see you. Mangala, good morning. Julio, good morning to you. Amir, good to see you. All right, so are we going to get some resistance here in this node? Right around 72, or are we going to just push right through it? Pushing right through it would be bullish, and the buy would be pulling back down and finding support. Okay, so there's the push through. Internals are all working their way back up to the 0 line. So this is where if the sellers are going to step in, they'll start to step in there. Let's see. Jonathan, good day. Hello, hello. Mangala, I'm bearish now. That was a quick decision. Marco, what up, buddy? Good to see you. Cloud is here. Good morning to you. Claude. You're short, good trading? It's a bit early, in my opinion, to get short on the market. That's the thing about balancing areas. They're very, very freaking potent. Just like, look at what happened at the highs yesterday. Right? We looked above this area, it pulled us all the way down, and then we did it again in the overnight. Looked above that area, and it pulled us all the way to the opposite end. So if it's a balancing area, it will just bounce between those two. Jesus, it's happening very fast. This is crazy. All right, guys. Well, this feels bullish. I think they might be heading back up to yesterday's high. I mean, they need a pullback to bring in more buyers, but as long as they hold above this level here, it's pretty bullish. Whoops, wrong way. Okay, also got some potential resistance up here at the 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles. Manifs is correcting me. Manfizz? Manfizz? Two Manfis? Whatever. I'm dyslexic. You can't judge me for that. That's a tricky name. Manfis? Scooball, good morning to you. Core, yeah, sorry. I was doing a bunch of other stuff this morning. I didn't get a chance to update the website. I'll go in and do that here once the market chills out for a second. Mark, good morning to you. Mediterra, maybe see that weekly target 22.25. Do you mean below or above? 45.22 or 46.22? RK, not Cotton Dog. Good morning to you. Donkey, it's Donkey. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Man, this is bullish. They're going for another push. That was their chance to pull back in here, and they instead found support in this node. And now they're continuing higher. So let's see if the trends are going to start to get their way. The ticks are going to start to get their way above the zero line. Seems like we're finding some acceptance within yesterday's value. Yeah, I mean, I would just love it for the market to pull back down a little bit more, get into here, and find support there. I mean, of course, this is stronger if they can hold it up here, but this is like so much momentum straight out the gate. But if those ticks start to push above the zero line, there's no denying this market is bullish. And there they go. All right, guys. Well, they're pushing it. They're going to push it. Trying to get back up there and repair those weak highs. Fausto took a scalp trade, and they just keep going. But good news, account just crossed 5. You mean you were long and then they kept going in your direction? Yeah, that's frustrating. You're like, oh man, should have stayed in that one. But account above 5K, that's good. You can do 10K by the end of the year. You got a couple months. Tom, good morning to you. James, pick up any interesting insights from my sit down with the window trader tech? Yeah, I mean, they showed me like so many things, like a bunch of different stuff. It's just kind of like, it's hard to know what to start playing with because I'm so used to what I'm used to. And so it's like, there's like a million gizmos and doodads on here that like, he just kept showing me, he's like, you can do this, you can switch that, you can change. And I was like, oh my God, like, I would have to spend like a month with each one of these just to figure out what works for me and what doesn't. So I'm going to start playing with a few things. I've got, for example, down here, this is like one thing that he pointed out to me where it throughout the day, it shows you like the current volume compared to like the average over the last 10 days. And like the initial balance ranges and the range for the day and stuff like that. So I'm going to start kind of keeping an eye on that and see if there's any insights from there. I was also able to add this little thing at the bottom, which just shows the total volume of the day as an easy way to keep track of day-to-day total volume. He also showed me how to put like volume on each individual 30-minute TPO throughout the day, kind of like this, but you can see it in each TPO, like a bunch of things. So I'm just kind of going to start bringing one little thing at a time in and see if it's just noise or if it actually helps my trading. JTrader, am I a quasi beta tester? No, not at all. This software's been out for a long, long time. I'm a beta tester for me, basically. John, can I talk about the the market being net short, leading to the counter auction to the upside? Absolutely. It's a great question. So basically, what we do every morning when we open our charts is we look and we see where did the overnight market open, which is where our market closed the previous day. So that was up here, right? That was their opening price. And then where is the overnight market going to close for the day, meaning where are we going to open, which was down here. Okay. So the question becomes, which direction did it go? Did it go down or did it go up? If a majority of the trade was down, which obviously clearly it was, if they moved the price from here to here, most of the trade from the overnight was short. It would have had to have been to push the market down to there. Then we know that the inventory is short, right? So what often happens because of overnight traders taking profits in the regular trading hours is you get a counter auction to whatever direction the overnight goes. So if the overnight was short, you often get a counter auction to the upside in the regular trading hours. Not necessarily like this. This is a massive one. Normally it's not quite like this. Normally it's just like a little push in one direction, then it finds resistance, then it has to come back down to test or whatever. But yeah, so that's the way I look at it is the closing price for us yesterday or opening price for the overnight, and then the closing price for the overnight and the opening price for us. If it's below, it's net short. If it's above, it's net long. And also generally how big of a difference it is affects the likelihood of the counter auction. So like today it was massively short. So that increased the odds that we would get some kind of counter auction to the upside. Whereas if it was just a little bit short, like if their market had just pushed up to here and then kind of traded around inside of here and we opened, say, right here, that would still be net short, but you wouldn't necessarily need much of a counter auction. Whereas this big one, really required some counter auction. Noto Cactus, I won 11K last month, lost 10K this month. Psychology takes 70% in trading. I need to work on my emotions. Absolutely. Pavel, good morning to you. Good to see you. Nicholas, good morning. Okay, so we're getting a bit of resistance at that 20 moving average on the 15-minute candles here on the SPX. So if we can bust right through that, it should get us through this node of volume as well. If not, we might need to pull back down into this 75 area to bring in some more buyers for the next push. No, knife. No. Don't you dare bring luck into it. Luck has nothing to do with it. Okay, well, the resistance is in. Both indices having a hard time getting above that zero line. So that means there's less new buyers stepping in here. So we're looking for support in this node that we created this morning, around 75-ish. And I don't start to get bearish or neutral until we get below this node. That was a terrible line. Below this node here, which is right about where our halfback is. It's very interesting to me that the market is having this hard of a time getting above the zero line here. You would think this kind of a giant push higher would be very bullish, and lots of people would be buying those underlying stocks, but they don't appear to be. We'll see how the market reacts when it gets back up to that 20 moving average again. Is that resistance once more, or is it able to push through? If it can't push through this time, we might need a further pullback to bring in more buyers. Let's wait and see. Donkey, so there's a counter auction, finding resistance at base of spike, time for exploration down. No, we're not at the base of the spike. You mean the end of the day spike? That was up here. Right now, I would say it's that 20 moving average that's working as resistance. But yeah, as the market, so the way that balancing areas work is as the market works its way up towards the balancing area high, which if I had to give it a number, I would say it's right there. I would say like 88.25, 88.50. Sometimes it doesn't quite get to it and it turns around and goes the other way, and you should see the volume taper off up there. Sometimes it has to look above it and then fail to break out and pull back down in. And that's what causes the market to start selling off again. Okay, once again, resistance on that 20. If they can't poke through, they may need to have a further pullback in here to bring in some more support. Once again, looking at the area around the half back, around 70, 75. $115 people watching, 43 likes. Please smash that like button. If you've got just a second free to reach over to your mouse and click that thumbs up, I sure would appreciate it. Banner green. Well, the market has pushed pretty high since the banner went green, but yeah. That resistance is really strong on that 20. Look at that. And they are failing to get those ticks above the zero line. Starting to trend down. So yeah, I think we're going to get a little pullback here. I'll stay bullish as long as we stay, above this node of volume here. If we start to pull back down below that, we'll probably need to go back down and test these lows again. So I'd get bearish from there to there. Boom, boom. NQ more bullish? Question mark. Man, interesting question. They are one time framing higher on the Q. But their overnight was more bearish because it got below yesterday's range. So right now you have a lower low from yesterday, which is of course different than the ES, which is a higher low. But you do have another weak high because the high was made in the overnight. That is always weak. Any all-time high made in the overnight is eventually repaired by the regular trading hours. So you also have a target up there on the NQ as well. So we're starting to see more asks than bids building up in here. So it would appear the market is looking for a pullback. Alpha Trader, good morning to you. Welcome. So once again, potential support here on the pullback is going to be this node of volume from yesterday. And the very bottom of it is basically the halfback at about 45.71. Halfback is also very commonly an area where the market finds support on a pullback. So as long as we bring in some buyers there, we can head back up to try to take out that the weak highs up here. But if not, we're probably going to head back down towards the lows of the day. Internals clearly rolled over here. All right, doesn't look like they're getting it. Can this hold? Yeah, clearly, Mediterra, clearly that 20 moving average kept them down today. Remember, there's definitely bots that are programmed just to sell any push up into there. So clearly those bots were able to overpower the market and push it back down here today. But if they can bring in the buyers here, they can take another stab at it. And of course, we think about that moving average like a semi-permeable membrane. So the more times we poke at it, the weaker and weaker it gets. And eventually it'll break through. Correct. Below is weak because it's right one tick from halfback. Jonathan, where's the POC? It's right where that weak B period low is. It's that green letter right there, the B. But POCs don't matter until you're rotational. Yeah, Jonathan, with this new, with the upgraded version of the software, these are different types of profiles. And so this one doesn't let me put the POC on there. But the difference is on this one here. So like when you look at the colors of the letters over here on the left, the colors are showing you the volume based on the full days range. But over here on the right, it's showing you the volume based on just that 30 minutes. And it also shows me the half back of each 30 minutes, which are those little white lines. So I'm just trying it out to see, do I like that better? But I'm unfortunately, the way the software is programmed, you can't see the POC on this type. So unfortunately, you got to look over on the left here. Not exactly sure what to make of the halfback of each 30-minute period just yet as well. Is it support resistance? I don't know. I was looking at it yesterday. I didn't really see any patterns. But Jim Dalton has it on his chart, so I just want to watch it for a while and see if there's any nuances I pick up from it. Still struggling to get above that zero line. There's information in that. These wicks are telling us the market is having a hard time bringing in buyers. Alpha Trader Jim used it as a sign of weak hands. Oh, so like if so like say the C period printed and it found resistance right there, then that would be weak. I see. Yeah, I'll start keeping an eye on that. Jitten, can I show you the bottom of the range? I absolutely can. Ocean Blue, 7 days perfect, last 3 no bueno. Well, you know what that sounds like to me? Psychology, my friend. Sounds like when you're on a winning run, you keep it going, but as soon as you get into that negative mental space, it becomes harder. Chitten just wanted to see where we were headed. That's great. Yeah, I mean they're having a really hard time bringing in more buyers here. So it looks like a lot of this momentum to the upside may have just been that counter auction. You know, all the people that were going short in here, right, pushing the market lower and lower and lower and lower every time it tried to come up. As the market was pushing higher, they were just freaking out and exiting their trades and just pushing their shorts covering were what was pushing us up. And that's what those ticks tell us because the buyers weren't stepping in. Speaking of which, I'm going to go back to neutral here. If we can't get above this node that we created earlier this morning, it's acting as resistance right now. We are likely to get a pullback down. So I'll have to wait till we get back above that node to get bullish for continuation up to the highs from yesterday. Oh, and actually I'll just switch to my Brigade leaving in 5. Great plug, Jonathan. Yeah, Ocean, just go watch the hypnosis video every night before you go to sleep. As soon as you're on a winning day or losing day, go back and watch that video. Reprogram that brain. TV saying he likes the 30-minute halfbacks. Okay. All right. Well, obviously the market is running out of steam here. So it looks like we're going to start heading back down towards the lows once we break this node of volume here. All right. Well, with the C period getting below the B period, we're certainly not going to trend higher. So once again, I think the market's going to need a little larger pullback here. But look for support right around yesterday's low, okay? If the market trades down here, it doesn't have to be exactly to the low. Anywhere down in here and find support and starts rotating back up, we could head all the way back up to yesterday's high, as well as a look below and fail, where it dips below yesterday's low and then comes back up. That would be very potent for upside continuation as well. And if that area fails, I'd be looking towards the low from the previous day. Down here at like 45.43 for support. But one step at a time. And with that, I shall bid you all farewell. Happy Friday. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. And I will be here with you again on Monday morning. If you're not a member of the Brigade and you wanted to keep hanging out, you could always just join. It only costs $10 for an entire month of hanging out with an awesome community. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much, guys, and we will see you on Monday.